Okay, well, in part 2 of this, we're gonna talk about open G and open A tunings to save a little time here. So I'm in open G on this guitar. So this is a D, the big fat, what was the E string in standard tuning, is now a D, then we go down to a G, then we go to D, then we go to G, then we go to B, and then we go down to D. A lot of resonator dobro guys tune it, a G tuning for them is a GBD, GBD. Okay, but this is a little tuning. We're going with that vestibule thing. Okay, so so now the root for the A and the G tunings, and I'll give you the tuning for A and G, but the fingering is going to be the same for those two, and the root now is going to be on the 5th string. So, you know, if you're looking for a shuffle beat, you're going to use the 5th string as your drone, and the one below it is the one that gives you the shuffle, and then you would bar the 5th string again and use the 4th string as your shuffle beat. Okay? Now things are going to remain the same. All the notes that you could use on the 3rd and 5th frets are going to remain the same, but now that we've changed roots down 1 string, also the string that we want to skip has moved down 1 string. So now the string that you probably want to skip is the B string down here. So you can use anything on the open 3rd, 5th. You're going to skip over the B string, open 3rd, 5th, open 3rd, 5th, open 3rd, 5th, open 3rd, 5th. So all the notes are the same in any of these tunings except the string you skip, because, you know, one of them becomes a major 3rd of the chord. Okay? You could also use all the notes up on the 12th and 10th fret, just like you could in the other tunings. Okay, so all that is there for you. I didn't mention it in D and E tuning, but obviously you can play scales on single strings, and you know, in some of these tunings you have multiple strings that's tuned the same way. Like in this tuning, open G, you have 3 D strings. So once you learn a lick on a D string, you can change it to a different octave and play it there. Or you can play scales on individual strings, you know, down the string. You know, like that, or you could like I'm on the G string now. So you could play a scale straight down, and you can do that with a slide too. So I wanted to make sure I give you the fingerings first, and then we'll go back to slide. So you can finger chords in the A and D tuning, A and G tuning, just like you could in the D and E tuning. Only now you're going down 1 string. So the root again is down. We're on the 5th string. So if you had the 5th string and the 2nd string in this case, yeah, the 5th and the 2nd string, that would kind of represent a G chord if you pluck that. Now you got a minor chord, so these shapes are the same thing. So you can go up the scale with chords like you could in the other tunings, only now you're on a different set of strings. And obviously you can strum all the strings. It's a little harder to hear the melody out of it, but you can do it. Okay, so, and then this G tuning is tuned a lot like a banjo, so you can use a lot of the banjo chords. So this is obviously the 1 chord. This is a G major. If you fret the B string, 1st fret, and the D string, 2nd fret, you'd have basically a C, maybe a little bit of a C suspended, but that would represent a C chord, which would be the 4 chord in the key of G. And the banjo, you could do this shape, kind of like the top of a D chord. You know, not this D chord, but just the top of it. And get a D. So you can finger chords and you can figure out a lot of different fingerings. The other nice thing about this tuning, I think, is that the D string, the G string, and the B string haven't changed. You haven't tuned those at all. So then things that you could do, scales that you could do on those, or shapes that you could do on those, don't change. Okay? So that comes in handy. And any like 6 and some thirds are the same as they are in standard tuning, so you could do all of those licks. And then anything that you can do fingering, obviously pretty much anything you can do with a slide. So again, in this tuning, the 1 chord is open. The 4 chord is the 5th fret. The 5 chord is the 7th fret. Works that way in A too. So you could play in any key really. You just have to, like if you were in F, you'd have to make the Fs. And the B flats, you'd have to pick them out. But it's easier, obviously, to play in the key that you're tuned to, because then these things don't change. And obviously, when you come to the 12th fret, it all repeats. Okay? What am I forgetting to tell you about this? Okay, so also you can fret behind a slide. Sonny Landreth does this all the time. Okay? And you can do that pretty much anywhere that you're playing. You can go 2 frets back and fret behind it. And if you want to get a minor sound, in this tuning, you go to the B string and you would flat, 1 fret back, like that'd be a C minor. You just put you're fretting behind the slide 1 fret back on the B string, and that gives you a minor sound because now you're flattening the 3rd. And obviously you can just play single strings. some chords. It's a lot of fun to play in this tuning. You got to try it. And it'd be the same thing in open A. You'd play exactly the same thing. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do, and there's a million videos out there on how to play songs in open tunings. So I was just trying to get to the surface of it here for you, to get you to maybe start liking it and looking into it. So that's kind of my thought on what I'm trying to accomplish here today. So hopefully I'm getting somewhere with you today. So remember to have fun out there and enjoy guitar playing. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'd sure appreciate it. And be safe. See you in the next video.